Laureate Global is thankful to NHRD for providing us with this platform to launch our very recent product, Corp, Marshal.
We have witnessed in our brush with realities that many a times in the corporate, the truth is pushed under the carpet. The unspoken is never said. Hence, we want to bring an opportunity to all of you for your own show to come and share your perspectives, your experiences, your point of view, without the fear of being politically correct, without the fear of being judged.
I would like to welcome the man behind the show, Mr. Rahul Dev, the Managing Director of Laureate Global. Let's give him a big hand.
This is what triggered this idea that why not we have something called Corp Marshal, marshalling the corporate thought together, speaking things out which doesn't come out in as much of frankness, if I have to say that, and many times we are politically correct, and our aim is not to be politically correct here today. So I have come here to hear you out, not to tell you anything. Okay, so the topic is high performance is desirable, high performers are not. Does it ring a bell in your mind? Tell me with hand on your heart right now, how many of you agree that corporate managers follow this philosophy? High performance is desirable, but high performers are not. Hands up who go for the motion. High performance is what is desirable by everybody. By the way, this is not your philosophy. This is what you feel in the corporate world. People look at it from that perspective. I'm sure all of you desire high performance as well. I'm sure, individually. But is that what we experience in corporates? When we are working, is this what corporate managers are also showcasing? High performers are as well desirable? Before I ask you once more, I want to show you something.
Bowled in! It's all over for India. Flintoff takes his shirt off. As you would expect, England have won the 6th One Day International, and more importantly, the series scored 3-all. So we have no result after a lot of hard work. Now we're back on the offside boundary. That's his 15 this time. The ball all the way along the turf. Two to win. They're running. It's got to be a direct hit. Just missed. And they're getting back for two. That is the end of the match. India have won the NatWest Series.
And they won it by 2 wickets in one of the most remarkable occasions you could ever imagine. Look at the celebrations on the field of play. It really was a special moment.
Now for all of you, what was that? Was it a high performance of the team? Yeah. Was he a high performer? And what did he show? Do you think managers in corporate world showcase this, or how many hands up? Okay? So I want to open the floor and open the debate here. Who wants to give a first point of view on why do you believe high performers are not desirable? Great. What's your name?
My name is Sagar Maudgal, and I am a management consultant trying to innovate things in management consulting. For the insecurity that we as human tendency have, that is where I believe that the managers do not want the subordinates to take over because they are not high pots and they are not able to get a higher version.
Have you experienced that yourself?
Sorry?
Have you experienced that ever yourself? I am not asking that.
Yes.
You have experience. So you believe that managers have insecurity and they...
Yeah, my manager asked me to look out for a new job because he said...
Your boss would be listening.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur.
Sure. Thank
That's
you.
how it.
Thank you very much. Okay. Anybody here who has a counter? And so many of you are here. Yes, please go ahead. Just speak your name out.
most intelligent managers want sustainability. So performance is an event, performer is something that sustains. So you engage the performer, you get sustained.
Yeah, but he made it a point
Right now that managers have insecurity. They just want only the high performance part of it.
So just to create a culture of high performance rather than identifying high performance in the team. So for me, it's purely all about building a high performance team with whatever you have.
So I remember T.M. Sheshan, he was the Chief Election Commissioner, who really changed the way elections are fought in this country. Just before he got the award, the position, there were actually pictures in the press where he was actually groveling. He was actually flat because he was a public sector bureaucrat to a minister. And the day he became the Chief Election Commissioner, he rewrote the entire book in how elections have to be fought in India. And even people like Lalu Prasad Yadav had to really stand back and obey rules. So he was a guy who was hated by the politicians, but he gave a culture that we still revel to find a person like him.
So what he did was required, but he was not. He was hated.
He was absolutely
given a chance, politicians would have done away with him.
Nobody wanted him. They would have killed him.
And I have names after names after names. Khernar, do you remember Khernar? You know how many times was this guy transferred? I think 15 years, 20 times. So what do you have to say to that? He was a high performer also, by the way. He was not desirable by anybody. Yes, please. Oh, please go ahead.
No, because definition of high performance is different in that case. Khairna's definition of high performance was to root out corruption or whatever, but his boss's definition of high performance is one who gets his income, right? So obviously I wouldn't agree with that statement.
It's okay.
Please, this is Amit. I just want to counter ma'am. You mentioned two very important points. You said sustainability. Performance is that sustainable. How are high performers sustainable? They are not either. They move with the wind. That's how you see sway of leaders moving across organizations. If HR believed and if you believed in that, why would you not hold to high performance in your own organization? Have you? I want to trigger that thought.
So the smart leader would always select smart guys under him, delegate, let them perform, and groom them well. Because to me, it's organization culture that is important, and that you have your very, very competitive organization. There will be some people who will fall by the side of those who don't perform, but a smart performer and create a culture that he's the guy who's number one, and then you groom team to have leaders like that. And it's, as rightly pointed, it's not a manager versus leader, it's a leader who identifies them, grooms them, and bring that competitive spirit in the company.
Quick point. I took a few minutes to reconcile the contrarian philosophy in your statement, which is high performance is in demand, but high performance is not. The dichotomy there. High performance is the derivative of high performance. The only place where high performance is not wanted is when you are to the senior boss. But otherwise, the Steve Jobs, the Bill Gates, the Larry Ellisons, for that matter, most politicians, people who are really closely following politics, you won't believe so. Around the organizations, they pick the best IS officers to clean up the system. I cannot engage them as it do not allow me. So I personally believe high performers are demanded as
My name is Shivkumar Venkatesan. Good to be here, Rahul. Rahul is an old friend. The topic is very dear to my heart. The reason is I work across various organizations. In my current organization, in the last 5.5 years, I worked with 5 different leaders. In 5.5 years, but despite that, we are among the top 2 institutes in Asia and as an institution. So irrespective of leaders, there is no choice. So the leaders have to ensure that the organization culture is performance oriented, and despite their presence or absence, the organization moves on to a particular position. That is the point of view I have, because as personally, irrespective of whichever organization you work, and more examples are there in public sectors in a country like ours.
Culture.
No, that is not the question.
Don't edit the question.
Don't edit.
Okay, hang on. I'm reminded of Arnab Goswami debate otherwise. Nobody will be able to hear. Anish, you have a point. Yeah, second.
So this is Anish from Mindtrick.
Yes.
I think the fundamental problem that we always have is that all of us believe that we are high performers. And when the manager actually takes a turn or gives a feedback, we are unable to accept it. It is always the manager at fault. I think somewhere the self-awareness has to be there in individuals to say that, yes, somebody who's taking a decision, somebody who's giving you a feedback has actually seen that, has made a comparison. And that is where the whole point is. Otherwise, high performers, if you look at organizations, are spending tons of money to retain their high performers, to develop high performers, so that continues.
I have a point to make.
That's why we have.
I'm going to take around 30 to 60 second break from your discussion and going to show you something. There are some research organizations which have also done some bit of research, and they are sort of satisfied on the job as well. But still, they go to the manager. No, I'm looking for a change. Why are you looking for a change? You are performing very well, everything good. You're getting all the benefits. No, I want to still master my skill. This guy has an attitude problem. Okay, that's the usual style with which we interpret. Okay, some more facts. I had some questions, but you already have got triggered on these thoughts. Is high performance equal to high maintenance?
I mean, just said that.
Yeah, so that's what I said. You preempted my point.
I risk too.
And I have some more factors here on this.
No, sir, this market forces.
Sorry?
It's not high maintenance. Pure market
let me just complete and then I'll get back. The disgruntled staff costs $16,000 per employee annually. That's a fact. Which Gallup came out with this fact. The question about are high performers high maintenance or not, it costs the company. That is the truth. Okay. Back on the debate. Are managers insecure of high performers? And that is what you guys were discussing.
Obviously, possible. That is a very good point. Okay, number one, G, one of the few other companies, is known to promote you only if you have a developed second-line managers. Which means it's your bounden duty, you're appraised of the fact that two guys to take over your job. It's not about getting insecure, inferior, it's actually about nurturing talent. A, B, the guy who said I need a cabin to be high performing, public knowledge, so I'm quoting this, Mr. Ambani, Reliance Jio office, sits in an open office. I've been there, there is no cabin. And I think Reliance is a high performance company.
So I worked in Reliance, so those people know taste of money. During those times he was in Maker Towers and then now he's over here. So basically if I look at it, quite a few performing organizations where the leaders don't want top performers because they don't want super dupers. So they are wary about super dupers. They feel that they can be disruptors and they like mediocre people to be more followers. And they are also successful in terms of driving them and kind of getting the results. So that's what I feel.
Okay, sure. Sorry, the gentleman has been waiting to speak for some time.
My name is Dr. Sumit. We are talking about insecurity. That may be one of the reasons, as I was told. But I feel that sometimes the high performance may not be appreciated. It may be a strategy also, we don't know. If you go back to history, when Dronacharya was training Arjuna, although Arjuna was a very good archer by default, but when he used to do certain things, Dronacharya never used to appreciate it. You say there is a better way of improvement, there is a scope of improvement, which we call in modern terminology as Kaizen principle. There is a scope of improvement in everything. So maybe there are things, perceptions like insecurity, jealousy, jo bhi bolo. Crab mentality is always there in human beings. Let us see that. I am from LMP background, so I know how human mind works in other. So I do not agree that always insecurity may be the reason. There may be things that we have to look at it. And I have to take it from a positive point of view. He is my manager, my boss. If you do not appreciate certain thing, I should really
okay, so you're saying it may be by design as well, possibly, and not as a result of insecurity. Anybody counter?
The manager is a high performer, and let's say about a task that takes about 2 days for a junior person to complete, and manager has been seizing their entire place to do that. अगर ये आके बोलेगा कि भाई ये तो 5 मिनट का काम था, तूने तो 2 दिन लगा दिया. That creates an impact. So it depends on where is the manager, if he's really a high performer, benchmarking his employees against. If he's really supposed to kind of deliver high performance, he's supposed to understand their needs as compared to what he is capable of doing it. So that's where there's a problem with high performers as compared to delivering a high performance culture within the firm, so to speak.
For last 23 quarters, he's been posting negative results from a $100 billion enterprise to a $79 billion enterprise. So what it didn't create was an environment for the high performers to disrupt or innovate and leave that behind as a legacy.
Okay. I just want to ask some very blunt question to all of you. How many of you here in this room have faced a situation where you felt you have not grown or you have not been allowed to perform or you wanted to change your role or whatever, and because of manager's insecurity, you could not grow further. How many? Please raise your hands. So many times people get disgruntled because I have seen this. We are a consulting company. We do a lot of coaching. There are a lot of people who come on to us and tell us very bluntly, my manager says, you've grown bigger than your boots. Okay, you think you are you're bigger than me? You're bigger than the managing director of the company? I've been there and done that. So I know what to tell you. I can advise you, I can guide you. Now my point is, in today's world, experience doesn't matter anything. It's the exposure which matters far more. But people get into authority traps. That I am a manager or I am so and so and I will tell you exactly what to do. Now what happens is a high performer junior who's raring with ideas, okay, who wants to prove himself or herself, his radical possibility gets completely shut down. We were talking Reliance. You know, Mukesh Ambani recently created a strategic group. And do you know who comprised of that strategic group? They are not wizards, they are young B school grads. Okay. Now obviously Mukesh Ambani doesn't have insecurity with people, so he's pulling them up. But that is not the real fact with a lot of managers. Will say, this B school grad, what does he know about me? What can he teach me? I will tell him what to do. And that's where a lot of creativity, innovation, enterprise, risk-taking ability, all that gets completely murdered virtually. That's one point of view. I am not countering either of them. I am only facilitating a discussion. But these are also facts. Yes, please.
So, 2 quick points. One is when somebody is feeling that they have been stunted for growth. Sometimes, I would invite them to take a hard look at multiple points of view.
One point, yeah. I am 100% sure you will invite them. But do managers generally invite?
Yeah, so let me complete what I'm... So actually I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Which side are you batting for?
I am not batting for anything. I am here only to trigger the thoughts.
You just stand on the other side, right? So let me finish what I'm saying.
He's a consultant, so, money both sides.
But I think he gets his consulting assignment on the other side. So the point I was trying to make here is my issue with the statement high performers are not desirable. I take the point that organizations and managers sometimes do a pretty rotten job of holding back high performers. But it is not necessarily because of lack of willingness. Sometimes they are just not able to. Your statement says that they are not desirable. Well, that's one interpretation. Second is sometimes they are just not articulating. They say things that they really don't understand, the kind of effect it has. Third, they're incapable of sometimes holding back people. Sometimes an organization doesn't have the bandwidth to give somebody an open space to work. Right? So it doesn't mean they are not desirable. Maybe they are also extremely saddened that...
This is absolutely, so these are perceptions.
I would like to give example of 2 startups of my close friends. Hari Menon, the CEO of Big Basket. I was sitting him for different things and he was talking to the placement consultant. I want the best guy to head my supply chain. And he went ahead to hire that. Second example. Manoj Kohli is my same mate. We joined as a trainee in DCM group. And at that time when Sunil Bharti Mittal was a startup, the Bharti Group enterprise, if you just go and talk to Sunil Mittal, it is all because they simply believed in hiring performers. So when it comes to hiring, you name one example sitting over here that you don't hire the best performer.
This is actually interesting and a paradoxical. We hire the best performers, after that we don't know what to do.
More than 50% of the group will say that their performance is in the top 10%. And that could be for doctors, that could be for lawyers, that could be for drivers, anyone. As a matter of fact, it could be in this particular group also. So sometimes a definition of what high performance is in the mind of the person who thinks he's a high performance may not be really high performance. I don't have the statistics like you, but I just have an intuition that truly high performers will not be more than 4% of the organization, 2 to 4% of the organization. Even when you create a high potential program, that is what 3.5% is. But if you ask a group, more than 50% of them, they will say, yeah, we're high performers.
We spoke about, are high performers more satisfied? Now what you see here is, generally yes, they are more satisfied, but more than over 50% are also dissatisfied as well. Okay. One another fact from the same survey, which said likelihood of high performers to leave their current companies, more satisfied in their jobs but still likely to leave. And this is a very important point. High performers are satisfied in their job is as per the survey, but 1 out of 5 wants to still leave. And this is the question for all of us here. Why do they want to leave?
High performers are always greedy.
Are always?
Greedy.
Greedy. Okay, that is interesting. But let's see what some of the statistical facts are talking about.
Now it has come to my mind. High performers don't become managers, is it? Are the wrong people in leadership positions? This is a question. I think perhaps that is the problem.
I think high performers have a high EQ and not a high IQ.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I'll let him counter and then I'll come on to you, ma'am. Yes.
I have two different thoughts. High performers are passing clouds and create silos and departmental challenges. Okay. Second, look at all countries which are exporting. We are all defining high performance as a good English speaking and all that. All English speaking countries are more import oriented than non-English speaking countries.
Okay, thank you very much. Let the lady speak because she had a...
I just have one small question. Were you a high performer when you joined?
Why should I say that?
When you joined?
No personalized question. We are talking about the perceptions.
Generally. Yes. When you joined, you were not a high performer. When you
No, my answer, but my answer to all that would be, that we all are high performers for that matter in our own mind, and somewhere, this is not either side, not this side, nor side. Somewhere it is also capability of the manager as well to make sure that I perform high. So somewhere it is manager's responsibility.
Okay, so
yes,
I just want to.
You kind of said no to personal questions from here, but we asked a personal question sometimes.
What was that personal question, please?
And you didn't counter that, so I just want to give you a data point on which side you're
Okay. So to your comment, sir, to your comment about their passing clouds, you see, sir, whether the Wall Street or Wall Street, market forces drive everything from recruiting to innovation to what have you. And therefore, if somebody wants to encash his high performance talent, I think it's his game. It's a company's inability, either because of insecurity or just not having career path, to not retain him. And why wouldn't he encash when he's at the peak of his performance? I don't think he's being selfish or passing clouds. In fact, when he goes, you even have his A team depart.
I'd just like to counter the argument that you just made, sir. If you are the owner of an organization, the investor in the organization, the CEO of the organization, why would you not continue the run?
No, he would leave, the high performer would leave as substantial with the data. Despite that, he's doing very well at the current organization. There's a market force which is saying you get 150% upside on your salary and everything else.
But the same performer brings in 1,000%. You should make him rich to get richer.
Exactly.
Why would you not make him rich to get richer?
You're actually making my point, which is the owner should retain it. They don't.
Yeah, the question again becomes why? Why don't they?
Not desire. Because after a point in time you lose the desirability.
Yes.
It's temporary.
I have a slightly different thought. You guys are talking about corporate organizations with profit. Let's look at Rahul. You were from the army earlier. All army men are high performers, but is army a high performing organization? No, I'll ask you a straightforward question. The debate here is talking only about organization.
Shiva, I am the facilitator, you are not.
No, organization. You profit, in a non-profit spita, you work for non-profit. I'll ask you a very question. Is your organization successful because of all of you are high performers?
Not necessarily.
Okay, no. Okay, you have a point, please, sir. Yes. So just 1 second. Yes, please go ahead.
Before my grandfather died, he gave me one management advice. He said, धंधा करना है ना, तो एक हाथी के साथ मत करो, 12 घोड़े के साथ करो. क्योंकि उसमें से एक घोड़ा मर जाए तो 11 हैं. हाथी मर जाए तो हाथी को उठाने का भी पैसा देना पड़ेगा.
That's an interesting perspective. Very good. Thank you very much. Yes, great one.
I have 2 points. This is Priyanka from L'Oreal. This is to you, sir. When you said that GE had this process where a person is not promoted unless the second line is created, right? I think that's a very strong point for us, people sitting this side. Why does it require a process to generate or create your second line?
Because a process ensures credibility.
A process ensures. So why do managers do not ensure that the second line is created? Why can managers not feel the sense of pride when the teams do better?
Madam, such managers should see a psychiatrist right away.
But there's so many, we are short of psychiatrists right now in that case.
No, but that's also a perspective that, lot many times second line is worked upon, not that it's not worked, but more as a process.
Work in progress.
That's work in progress. It also happens sometimes. But guys, just one observation. I'm sensing too much of loud bites coming from here. I want here as well. You have a lot of experience. I want more stronger counters.
Just to add to it, only one question I would like to ask.
Yes.
Why did Indian team won World Cup in 1983 and 2011? It was because everyone was performing, not because one or two were performed during that time. So it's a high performance culture which created.
Yes.
I don't think we are able to.
Even 1983, because of Kapil Dev, he was a high performer and he changed. And if you look at 2011, the Dhoni who changed it everything. So that's not the comparison, what you are talking about.
Because it's not about high performance cultures are required. It's about the manager versus or manager's perception about high performance. That's the debate. Yes, please.
We have I'm Viswanathan. High performance, 54% of them like to work in isolation, which means that doesn't exhibit leadership quality.
Okay, very
high
interesting point
performance,
he got. Yes.
High performance means that he should be able to build a team that works along with it to attain that high performance. But if he is going to be an individual with high performance, that is why organizations are scared.
Yeah.
Because he may not have the leadership quality. We need to lead, we need to build a team, not individuals.
In other words, you are saying you have to redefine the word high performance.
Yes. If they want to work in isolation,
what as we know it today?
if that is a characteristic that they are showing, then they are not leaders. We want leaders. High performance should be matched with leadership qualities.
While we were doing this research on high performers versus performance desirability, we hit upon something very sensitive. Are managers more tolerant of a man's attitude than a woman? So, your thoughts around it? Yes, please go ahead.
That has not been my experience.
No, it has not been your experience.
I agree with that statement. I kind of agree with that statement because I think that gender bias is very well evident and people don't have so much of a tolerance when a woman actually has shown that. I mean, that is truly evident.
But my friend, that's really possible.
That is
there are enough checks and balances, whether it's POSH Act or sexual harassment training or women empowerment, women leadership. I think it's, for me, long back to passing out, as a girl to somebody else, what do you think is the difference? I said only one, God-given gift of procreating a life. Other than that, everybody's equal.
No, I think the diversity ratio is low. I mean, the women are much lower. And what happens, men managers are more comfortable to actually the men colleagues. And women can't to have a drink or spend an evening. The women don't have that kind, and they at the top feel that, we cannot go to that extent to, be as, close as a male manager. So I think that challenge definitely women have. And somebody recently, a woman manager, told me that, and that's a reason she doesn't get recognition or she doesn't get...
But Venkat, when the same woman who is a high performer shows the same behaviors, somewhere is there a acceptability issue that how is she saying? Whereas when a man is saying so, it's more
They take her as more aggressive. I mean, when a woman becomes aggressive, they call it aggression. But when a man becomes aggressive, it's about right. I think that's what...
That's not right, but that's...
With this point, I would like to go that side.
I don't think this is that
That's
side.
okay, it's not about that side, but it's...
So
because there is some facts also on high performer with gender bias, definitely, and I would bring that.
2 points there. One is I agree with his point that sometimes there are conversations that you find it difficult to get into. And more so because, at that time, it's maybe some sort of drinks are flowing and people are flowing with their words and they don't want to watch their words. Agreed. And I also agree with the point that sometimes there are more labels attached to a woman who tends to be a little more assertive.
I have got some of these questions to trigger your thoughts, but I will sum it up with the data for sure.
The point. But this is there a decade back or 2 decades. It varies from an organization to another. Maybe Smita would not have experience in organization.
No, Shiva, just from a statistical perspective, all the data which we have got is not from one organization. There are multiple companies who have been surveyed.
If the woman is a CEO, okay, what happens to the man?
Okay.
You experience it in the house.
Outside story.
Don't bring house. I'm not a CEO.
On a serious note, the percentage of women CEOs is less than 10 to 12%.
It's not serious, it's not about the manager.
No, but I have an answer to you. I have a straight answer to you based on the data, because when we were doing this research, it came across whether it is a male manager or a female manager. The biases do exist on this front, irrespective of that. Even a woman manager feels that, oh, she's very aggressive, you know, the high performer.
But sir, as somebody who had 3 lady bosses in my life, I think complete professional. I mean, there's been no gender issues which came up in either supervision or in appraisal or rewards. It was completely metrics driven. So I think that sort of sanitizes any kind of unconscious bias. So the neutrality ethic really is the panacea, if not the nemesis of unconsciousness. I've just done a piece on LinkedIn on this, only because all these issues are being discussed. Your only chance is pure, ruthless, brutal clinical data, which will arrest and sanitize any unconscious bias. We're all victims of unconscious bias.
I guess we have students, right? Yeah, so we have 3 young ladies over sitting there intently watching. I would want to know your views as well. They are the young budding leaders of tomorrow. Why don't you guys also give us some perspective? Okay, they are volunteering somebody else. Finally, they volunteered a male guy.
I don't have a right opinion and I don't have experience, but what I think is managers are always looking for high performance. Otherwise, they would have these 3 rounds of interviews, GEDs, everything.
Straight coming from the heart. Thank you. Thank you very much for your perspective.
But there is truth in the statement. Corporate is still a very small microcosm. If you look at globally also, when you have hurricanes which have female names, they do more devastation in life and material than hurricanes with a male. Now the reason for that is counterintuitive to what everybody is thinking. When there is when the hurricane has a female name, people don't take it seriously. And that is the reason why there is so much of loss of life and material.
And Katrina was the maximum.
Yeah, Hurricane Katrina caused the maximum damage. But thank you, I want to give a round of applause to his innovative thought process, definitely. This was conducted by Fortune. Words like bossy, abrasive, stringent and aggressive are used to describe high performing women behaviors, usually. Words like emotional and irrational, they describe their behaviors when they object to that feedback. Very interesting. Okay? All of these words show up at least twice in women's review. And while this was a summation of that particular survey, but there are some more statistics on this and I want to just share with you. Please see this part. They reviewed 248 reviews. Feedback received in critical reviews. And this is important. The dark blue is negative feedback. 71% women got a negative feedback on the similar performance issues, which meant 81% got constructive feedback. Okay. And only 23% women got constructive feedback on the same issues. I'm almost on the closing part and I want to wrap up finally. This point of view versus this, it's an endless debate and keep going on. Our purpose is to bring out views, practical thoughts, your own knowledge around this entire area and bring out this learning in slightly more engaging manner rather than me lecturing over here or any of our senior colleagues, because Anish and I were talking about it. We have been not used to that, but it's good to just hear your perspective as well. But I think it is important for all people in this room to know what are those very specific traits which high performers say that it drives them. Our manager also has an impact on that, okay? The first one is some critical drivers. Some of you mentioned this. Left untended, your high performers will seek alternate opportunities that provide challenges, growth and rewards. So number one driver is challenge, growth and rewards for high performers, and this is as per the HBR survey. Next one is differential compensation. It's a very critical driver for high performers. They demand differential compensation. Strategies that do not differentiate based on performance are likely to alienate high performers. And this is the second important driver which HBR survey revealed. The third one, very important, is feedback, constant feedback, which is almost like a monthly feedback. And the statistics also reveal that 53% of the manager class are not delivering on those expectations.
In fact,
only 53% are delivering. This is almost 50% not delivering. And the last one is self-directed learning are a high priority areas. This is what a HBR survey revealed about what high performance is. And with that, we wrap up the debate. So, a big round of applause to all of you for participating and making it a very exciting one. Thank you very much. Thank you for bringing in the passion, and some of you definitely excellent. So this was a format of a Corp Marshal, exactly what we had in mind. Thank you very much, all of you, and good night. Thank you.
Just would like to thank Rahul and his entire team for three things. One, I think is such a beautifully designed way, applying all principles of instructional design and adult learning to take a point across with involvement of people. Second, we spoke about a bell curve. I think there was a bell curve, natural distribution in this room too. Extra enthu cutlets to silent spectators to the middle group, and I thought he did a fantastic job of containing the extra enthu cutlets and getting the other extreme to speak as well. And the third thing, and I think his defense background shone through beautifully, that lot of grace and courage under fire. So very, very beautifully done, Rahul, and thanks to the whole team for being here and putting together this fantastic format. Thank you so much.